Alright. Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, I'm trying to get comfy. Oh my god. Okay, is this gonna work? Let's see. It might not, but I'm trying to get like comfortable. Anyways, hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, if this is your first time here, or your first time seeing me, or finding out about me, or discovering me, whatever the fuck, go check out another video on the channel first. Like, I have several other videos on this channel. Go watch those. Get a more upbeat first impression of me, because this video is gonna be really serious and a heavy topic for me to discuss, and I probably shouldn't even be sitting down filming this video, but I really want to. I don't know when I'm gonna put this video up or if I'm gonna put this video up at all, but as of today, as I'm sitting down and filming this video, it's August 25th, a little after 9:30 p.m. and as of today, I am officially 6 fucking years sober from pills. I had a really interesting relationship, addiction, dependency, whatever you want to call it, with pills. Any kind of anxiety medication or painkillers that I could get my hands on, that was my jam. And it was something I struggled with for a while. So we're gonna rewind, okay? We're gonna rewind it back to when I was in high school. So I started drinking when I was 15. I started smoking weed when I was 16. And then up until about my senior year of high school, I pretty much just kept it at that. I would only drink and smoke. Then halfway through my junior year of high school, I got a little curious, okay? As most kids or teenagers do when they start drinking and smoking, especially at a young age. Eventually, it's not like you're gonna get bored with it, but you're gonna get curious about, what other substances or what other things you can get yourself into. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I tried this and nothing too bad or nothing seriously bad happened. So let's see what this is about. And by the time I was a senior, I pretty much just kind of went through this period of time where I just tried multiple different substances just out of curiosity. Halfway through my senior year, the guy I was dating, he was my first boyfriend, and I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend, my senior year of high school. He was heavily into the party scene. He was real big on drinking and partaking in party favors and substances and all that. He was one of the people who, introduced me to raving and things like that, and, the club life, nightlife, whatever you want to call it. He also introduced me to several substances, one of them being Xanax. I'm gonna harp on Xanax. I know I said painkillers, anxiety meds, things alike, but my main thing was Xanax for the most part. Like I said, I would get my hands on anything that I could that would get me feeling good at the end of the day. But for the most part, it was Xanax. That was the big issue. So my boyfriend in high school introduced me to Xanax. It was really random. He gave me 2 full bars, and I took both, and it felt amazing. It felt like a combination of being drunk and high at the same time, basically. I blacked out, didn't remember anything I did or said, and in a way, I kind of liked that. And I was low-key scared when I realized how much I liked that, because there were other substances that I had tried before I had tried Xanax, but all of those substances I was pretty much either just like, I don't get what the big deal is, or I just straight up didn't like it or didn't enjoy it. but for some reason, Xanax really stuck with me. So then it became a thing that I slowly started to like do every now and then with my boyfriend. You know, we would hang out, I'd go over to his place, and we would do Xanax and, you know, smoke weed and just drink and watch movies, or I'd watch him play video games or things like that. Fast forward, we broke up towards the end of my senior year. Okay, we broke up. So now here I am moving away, going to college. I'm moving away 3 hours away from home, going to a university where nobody else from my high school was going to. I went somewhere else where not a lot of people from my high school and just my hometown in general went. There were only two people that I knew going into college. One was somebody that I had been friends with since kindergarten. The other was somebody that I had been friends with since about 7th grade. These two women played such a very important role in this whole story slash journey. I'm not gonna say their names or anything like that. They know who they are, and I am so fucking grateful for them. But they were majoring in things that I was not majoring in. So obviously, the chances of us seeing each other and running into each other were slim to none. We did make time to see each other and hang out and things like that, but for the most part, going into college, I was alone, which was kind of what I had wanted, especially after what I dealt with growing up the first 18 years of going to school. I really, really wanted a fresh start where I didn't know anybody and where basically nobody knew me. And I pretty much got that. Now, when you live in a dorm, obviously, it's hard to smoke. All the vents are usually connected, so if you try to smoke, the person in the room next to you is gonna smell it, people down the halls are gonna smell it, and it's just gonna create a huge problem that you don't want for yourself, okay? So, obviously, I had to find ways to work around. Luckily, we did have a friend who lived off campus in an apartment. So if we really wanted to like go get fucked up or go party or something like that, it was very easy for us to just go off campus and just go over to their place. But for the most part, we were stuck in the dorm. So if I wanted to get high, I couldn't go smoke, you know? So what did I do? I, started mingling with people in the dorms. I also started mingling with people in the dorm across the street from my dorm. And I wound up connecting with this guy who sold Xanax. What else did he sell? He sold like Tylenols. He sold perks, things like that, just a whole bunch of things. But this is around the time where it started to become a problem, okay? Or at first, it started out as like something I would do occasionally with the guy I dated. But then we broke up, and dealing with all that, dealing with the heartbreak and just coming to terms with the fact that I was going to be moving and things like that. I was switching my whole life around just like that. It brought all these different emotions and feelings. So it was very easy for me to just go grab a pill or 2 or 3 or 4 or however many I wanted to take at that time and just kind of numb that feeling. And it started to sneak its way into my social life where I would take it at parties or I would take it at kickbacks and things like that. And that is when I would say I really started to notice it becoming a problem, because it was no longer something that I was just doing every now and then when things got rough or when my anxiety was acting up. It was now becoming something that I needed as like a crutch in a way. I had easy access to it, the guy lived in the dorm right across the street, so all I had to do was hit him up and be like, hey, I need what you got, and then there we go. And it was awesome because, with weed, you have to worry about the smell, it leaving a trace, and all that extra shit. With the pills, I could just take those pills and be good for the entire day and not come down once, not come down at all the entire day. So in a way, it's like, why would I not go for the pills? You know, what's the point of smoking weed and only being high for a few hours when I can take these pills and be high for the entire day? So that's where it also started to become a problem. You know, as much as I enjoyed smoking weed only lasts like a few hours, you know, give or take, depending on how much you smoke. So when I got my hands on these pills and was realizing that it was keeping me high the entire day, I was like, oh shit, you know, this is way better. So all those things are the reasons, or I guess not the reasons, but like you can kind of see how it started to just become a part of my routine, okay? It started to be something that I would take anytime I felt off. Like anytime I felt like my emotions weren't where they needed to be, anytime I was upset about, you know, a relationship or something a friend did or academics or anything like that, baby, them pills were right there waiting for me. Second things get rough, I'm gonna go to the first thing that I know will immediately make me feel better. And in that moment, it was those pills. Now, I also was in a relationship, an on and off relationship all throughout college. This was probably will be the worst relationship I have ever been in and will hopefully ever be in. Just constant toxicity, and it really spiraled into something that it shouldn't have. Now, the thing with this guy that I dated in college, he sold drugs at the time, okay? So if I needed anything, I could get whatever I wanted for free, and if not for free, for cheap, you know? So of course, I was getting pills from him all the fucking time, you know? But because of how bad our relationship got, it got to a point where we were just so constantly high all the time, just screaming and yelling at each other. I was dealing with abuse and things like that I don't want to get into really. But it just kind of like fogged up my brain to a point where I thought I was living a different reality than I was. Now, I definitely knew what all was going on around me, but it just kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Unless you know exactly what I'm talking about, it's really hard to describe. But it just got to a point where everything became so foggy, like all the days just kind of started to blend together. Like it just, I don't know. I started to become very sloppy. I stopped caring about going to classes. I stopped caring to go hang out with friends. And I was also, you know, in my baby raver days at this time period as well. So, you know, on top of me taking all this Xanax and all these pills, I'm also going out to raves and frying my brain even more on drugs and substances and things like that. Now, I got that under control, you know, but when it came to the anxiety meds and the painkillers and all those substances and things like that, that's where I really struggled. And the thing with raves and raving is that it's always been my little escape. And I know you can meet a lot of people who go to raves and festivals who will tell you the same thing. It's like their escape from the real world, but it really was my escape from the real world. But now my addiction, dependency, whatever you want to call it, is now creeping its way into my escape, because now, like I said, I was taking this substance, all these, you know, prescription meds at raves and blacking out and not remembering what the fuck was going on or where the fuck I was at. And it's like, okay, this is becoming a problem now, because now it's affecting you just being able to go out and have fun. So I tried to quit. God, I tried to quit multiple times. And it just never, like, there would be times where I would quit for a couple months and I would be like, okay, like, cool, I got this. But then life would come and just knock me on my ass, and I would be right back down in the dumps, hitting up whoever I could get pills from, just trying to, again, like I said, numb whatever pain or emotions that I was dealing with that I didn't want to face. And that's just, That's not good. It wasn't good. And I really thought that like I was solving the problem by getting high, because it's like you're upset, so fix that. Get high so you're not upset. Problem solved. But no, then I'd come down, I'd crash, and then I'd feel even worse, because now, on top of, already feeling upset or depressed or anxious, now I'm coming down off of being high as fuck all day. So now I feel 2 times as bad as I already would have. If you like, I hope I'm like making, I hope y'all are like able to keep up with this, because I feel like I'm just rambling. These drugs, these pills caused me to ruin friendships. Now, there were a lot of friendships that I know for a fact needed to end. There were a lot of people who took advantage of the fact that I was constantly fucked up and not always coherent. And like I said, they would take advantage of that and just kind of like do or treat me however they wanted to, because they knew that I was too high to really care, or too high to really do anything, or to really speak up and say anything. So to those people, but to the friends, the genuine friendships that I have lost because of how bad my addiction was, like, I do apologize for that. I can't sit here and be like, that wasn't me, because it was me. It was me, obviously under the influence, but at the end of the day, that was me. And whether you are a kind-hearted person or not, like, a drug addiction will take that out of you, and you can become the most toxic version of yourself. Like, I look back at how I was when I was addicted, and it is so jarring to think about. Like, I could not be more different than that version of me. And it's not like I want to go back and hit up all these people and be like, hey, like, I'm sober now after all these years, like, awesome, like, let's reconnect, let's rekindle our friendship. Like, no, those friendships are over. They're done, they're dead, they are what they are. That is just something I have to live with. And I've already come to terms with the fact that there's a lot of people that I've pushed away while being addicted to pills that I'm just never gonna get any type of closure on. And that, like I said, I've had to come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that. Point where, like I said, I stopped caring about classes, so I was no longer showing up to class. I was literally just rotting in bed to the point where I was not getting up to do shit. Like, I would get up, go get high, go maybe party with some friends or whatever, go get more high, go drink, go do whatever, and then on the weekends I would go out to a rave or whatever. And then if not, I was just rotting in bed or hanging out with my toxic boyfriend, who I most definitely should not have been hanging out with at the time. It was just like a weird cycle that, like, I knew I was in, but I didn't think it was that bad, because I had tried to quit before, and it's like I had gone months without, taking the Xanax or whatever pill that I got my hands on. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, you quit for a couple months, you can quit whenever you want. Girl, like, this was something, like I said, I had tried to quit multiple times. I tried to quit this multiple times. Even once I left college, it was still something that I was struggling with. Like, it caused me to self-isolate. Like, I wouldn't want to go hang out with my friends. I wouldn't talk to my parents or anything like that. My parents did not find out about this addiction until 2020, a full year after I had quit. Now, you would think that, like, I would tell my parents everything, but what am I going to tell them? Like, I'm struggling with this, that, and the third. I have a pill addiction. I'm in a not so healthy relationship, and I'm like failing certain class. Like, my parents would have yanked me out of college so fucking fast. I probably should have gone to rehab. I probably should have told my parents what all I was dealing with at the time, but it's embarrassing, you know? It's embarrassing to go to the people you care about and be like, look, I'm struggling with this. I really, 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 really need help. I don't know who to turn to. I don't know what to do. Like, I need a way out. Those two women that I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm not going to say their names, the two girls that I grew up with who went to college with me, they saw how bad it got firsthand. Like, I don't even want to know. They've told me what it was like watching me, go down that path. And the fact that they had to see that, I don't think I will ever be able to forgive me for that. Even the friends that I made in college who I was befriending right at the start of my addiction, like, just everybody back then, like, they did not deserve that version of me at all. Like, just at all. But those two women that I grew up with, they legit came to my dorm and basically was like, look, you are about to hit rock bottom if you aren't already. And the thing is, I hadn't hit rock bottom. This wasn't even the worst of it yet. But they basically, picked me up and was like, you need to get your shit together. Like, they slapped some sense into me, essentially. And I am so forever grateful that they did that. Now, did that immediately stop my addiction? No. I went on to struggle with it for a couple more years. But over those years, their acts and their words stuck with me. And is one of the reasons why, even still to this day, I try my best to stick with this sobriety. Fast forward to 2019. I'm in Washington at a music festival. It's April 25th, 5 years ago today. It's the last day of the festival. There's only a couple sets left. I leave my group to go on this little solo adventure. I go down into the pit where everyone's, moving and grooving. And about 30 minutes after I had made my way into the pit, this guy comes up to me and is like, do you want some Xanax? And I was like, yeah, sure. So he gives me a red bar, like a red pill, rectangular pill. I had never seen Xanax in that way before. I had never seen red Xanax. I had seen yellow, green, white, etc., whatever the fuck. I had never seen red Xanax. But I was like, you know what? Whatever, fuck it. It's the last day. Let's do it. I took the whole thing. Probably about like 30 minutes to an hour later, I started feeling sick. That's the best way I could describe it. I just felt sick. I left the crowd. I started throwing up. It was awful. It wasn't fun. And so then I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Like, I really don't know why I thought that was a good idea. So I texted this girl that my group and I had befriended out there, and she came and found me, and we basically just sat and had a talk. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, I really don't think I want to do this anymore. And I was talking about taking Xanax and, struggling with this addiction that I had tried to kick several times over the years. And she looked at me and she was like, do you really want to? And I was like, yes. Like, this thing has ruined so much. It's ruined friendships. It's ruined relationships. It's ruined my academics. It's ruined my social life. And now it's ruining a festival experience. A festival that I had been wanting to go to. An experience that I had been dreaming about having. And now I'm ruining it. And the thing that sucked was that it was the last day of the festival. So I didn't get like a fourth day for redemption or anything like that. So it just, I think in that moment it really hit me. I was like, you are letting this drug ruin you. Like, ruin you. Not even that. Like I said, once I had left college, I was still struggling with the addiction. You know, there were guys that I would date here and there. Certain guys got pushed away. Certain guys I pushed away because I realized they were enabling my bad addiction, my bad habits. And I feel like it took a really bad wake up call for me to realize that what I was doing could seriously put me in harm's way. Because when you're that fucked up and when you're that high all the time, you do not really care about your safety. Like, you have no regard for your safety or anything like that. And me personally, I did not care if I died while under the influence. If anything, some nights I was going to bed hoping I wouldn't wake up. Okay? And that's very dark, but that's very real. And that's what it was. But I tell you what, after I left that festival in Washington, I did everything in my power to stay away from those pills. And now here I am a whole 6 years later. Like, I can't believe it. Because, like, I remember so well. I got back from Washington. I deleted both contact phone numbers from the people that I would go get Xanax from and pills from. Let them know, like, hey, thanks for, coming through whenever I needed you, but I really don't think that this is something I want in my life anymore. It's not something I need in my life anymore. And I kid you not, both of them were like, thank God, like, I am so happy for you. Partially what confirmed that I was making the right decision, because fuck, even if the people that are selling it to me, because y'all know most dealers, they don't give a fuck about you. They just want to sell you what you want so they can make money. So to hear them be like, I'm so happy that you're making this decision, like, thank God, like, that confirmed that I was really making the right decision. Now, obviously, there are times where I've thought about relapsing. There are times where I've come close to relapsing. I've been in the same room as Xanax many a time since I've quit. But I think that's where the real growth comes into play, is when I can be in a room with people doing Xanax or, being high on it. And I won't go, hey, do you have like 1 or 2 left over that I could buy off you? Or, hey, do you mind giving me the number of the person who gave that to you? Because there were times where I thought about it, girl. Y'all think life hasn't kicked me in the ass in the past 6 years? I don't want to say life has kicked me in the ass more than it has back then, because that could be up for debates. But life has definitely kicked me in the ass in so many different ways over the past 6 years, to where I easily could have just grabbed a handful of pills and been like, okay, like, what was I mad about? Fuck it. But I feel like it's a lot healthier for me, and just in general, to be able to feel your emotions, face them head on. And, I do have anxiety. I do have depression, okay? These are things that I was actually diagnosed with. But it's not something that's gonna go away. I've thought about maybe getting on some type of anxiety medication, prescription thing, some form of antidepressants or whatever the fuck. But I'm afraid that, given the past with antidepressants and anxiety meds and how bad that addiction got, I'm afraid, low key, and I know that there's different medications that can work, but I really feel like I have a good system going. I have a support system. I have healthy hobbies and things like that. So that way, when my anxiety or my depression does, act up or flare up, I know how to manage it, because it's not going to go away. Depression and anxiety, it's not something that goes away. It just becomes something that you can better manage. Now, I do want to make this very clear, okay? When I say I'm sober, I'm not saying I'm 100% sober, okay? I still, I still like to drink from time to time. I still like to smoke weed from time to time. And if we're at a festival and we're camping and it's like a 3-4 day festival, there might be a day or two where I decide to partake in some party favors. Who knows, okay? But what I am saying is that I am sober from the substances that were ruining my life and taking control and things like that. So when I say I'm sober, I'm not saying I'm 100% sober. And I always make it a point to say I'm sober from pills. I never say I'm 100% sober, because there are people who are 100% sober who don't do anything. That is 100% sobriety. But I am sober from the substances that were weighing me down. Because I know sobriety is different for everybody. What I think sobriety is might not be what you think sobriety is, and it might not be what the next person thinks it is. But I kicked my addiction, and that is enough for me personally. I really don't know what the point of this video is. I guess it's just like, I don't know. Like, I'm really, really proud. Like, I'm so proud of me. Like, I'm so proud of me. I shouldn't be here. There are many reasons why I should not be here right now, but I'm still here and I'm still kicking it. And, I hope that I never have to deal with something like that again. With addiction, it's always scary because you never know. You could fall right back into it at any given moment. But I am certain that I am a lot stronger than I sometimes like to think I am. And I mean, so far, we've been 6 years strong, haven't broken yet. So here's to another 6 years being sober from pills, I guess. I'm really happy with where I'm at now mentally. Obviously, it's not 100% where it should be and where I would like it to be, but compared to how it was when I was struggling with addiction, girl, way better now. Yeah, 6 years sober from pills is crazy, because there were nights where, like I said, I would get so high and just pray that I wouldn't wake up, because I just, there would just be so many sleepless nights of me just staying up crying because I wanted so badly to get rid of this addiction, but I didn't know how to because I felt like I couldn't go without it. And it got to a point where going without it was the only option I had left. And I'm glad that, I stopped when I did. I wish I had stopped sooner. I wish I had stopped when I had first tried to stop. But everybody's sober journey is different. Some people are able to stop on the first try. Others, they need a couple tries. And that is the good thing about sobriety, is that when you mess up, you can always start over. I'm not a professional or a counselor or anything like that, but I would say if you are struggling with addiction and relapsing and things like that, just know that the good thing about that is that you can always start over. Plain and simple. So, I hope that, I don't really, was there really a learning lesson in this video? Obviously, don't be like me, the fuck? But, I really just wanted to come up on here and, be more vulnerable with y'all, number one, because that's what I've been wanting to do on this channel. Number two, I just wanted to brag about my progress, because it's not easy, there are times, even still to this day, where I'm like, damn, you know, a silly little pill would do so much right now. It would be so good. But then I remember how much better I am without it and realize that I don't need that, like, at all. So, yeah. I don't really know where that puts us now. But I'm just so fucking proud of me, and I can't believe it's been 6 fucking years. Like, wow. Holy shit. That's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to, like, reflect on things and just take a moment and, you know, brag about my own progress and things like that. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend, do something. Please go watch another video so you can have a more upbeat idea of who I am as a person, okay? Other than that, I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!
Okay, so there was one more thing, or 2 more things, I guess. Those 2 women that I talked about that went out of their way to help me and, like, bring me out of what I needed to be brought out of. I actually did hit them up last year when it had been officially 5 years that I had been sober from all of that. And we all just kind of, like, got the closure that we needed with that. And I feel like doing that with them finally closed that chapter. I know it had been at that point 5 years since I had struggled with the addiction and everything like that, but I had already, you know, made all my rounds of closure with all my other friends and my parents and things like that, and my friends back at home, but never those 2. So the fact that I was able to do that, I feel like that finally, like I said, just closed the chapter for good. And yeah, to them, I just want to say thank you. And to my friends that I had in college and back at home that stuck by me through all of that, whether y'all knew what was up in the moment or it just came across as me being weird and y'all having questions that I was not giving answers to, thank you. And I'm real appreciative of y'all, and I love y'all so much. And to everybody else watching this, thanks for letting me rant and just talk and spew out all of this. And to the people that aren't new to this channel, I'm sorry this ain't the normal video. We will get back to regular scheduled programming here in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to get all this off my chest. So again, I love y'all. Bye.